Mysterious lighthouse. In a quiet town by the sea, thick fog often covered the coast, making everything seem mysterious. On the cliff, there was an old lighthouse that had stood there for many years, empty and abandoned. The townspeople said it was haunted, but nobody really knew if that was true. All they knew was that sometimes strange lights would flicker from the top, even though no one had lived there for a long, long time. One cold autumn night, a young girl named Ava, who had just moved to the town, became very curious about the lighthouse. She had heard people whispering about it at the market and neighbors warning her to stay away. But every night from her bedroom window she could see the lights flickering as if they were calling out to her, trying to tell her something. Ava couldn't ignore it any longer. She needed to find out what is happening in the old lighthouse. So one evening she decided to go there herself. She took a flashlight. She made her way up the narrow, twisting path that led to the lighthouse. The wind blew fiercely and the waves crashed loudly against the rocks below. But Eva kept walking, her curiosity pulling her forward. When she reached the lighthouse, it stood tall and silent like a giant keeping an eye on the sea. She pushed open the old wooden door, which creaked loudly, and stepped inside. The air was cold and smelled of salt and dust. A spiral staircase led upward and Ava began to climb, her footsteps echoing in the empty tower. As she reached the top, she noticed how damp and cold it was inside, as if the walls had been keeping the chill for years. When she finally reached the lantern room, the place where the lights flickering every night, Ava was surprised. There was no one there. The room was empty and dusty, and the big rusted lantern sat in the middle, completely still, yet somehow it seemed to hum with a strange energy like it was waiting for something. Suddenly, the whole room went dark. Ava's flashlight stopped working and the air grew colder. There were many names carved into the stone, some old and faded and some much clearer. But one name stood out. It was fresh and glowing, her own name, Ava. The whispers grew louder, swirling around her like the wind outside. She tried to leave, but as she reached for the door, it slammed shut with a loud bang, trapping her inside. And there was no other door. The lantern's light began to pulse faster and brighter, filling the room with a harsh glow. In the sudden silence, Ava noticed something in the corner of the room, a dusty old journal half buried under a pile of debris. Her hands shook as she picked it up and began to read the page.
Many years ago, the lighthouse keeper had made a big mistake. On a stormy night, he refused to have a shipwrecked sailor who had begged to be let into the house. The sailor died in the storm, and ever since his angry spirit haunted the lighthouse, waiting for someone to come close. The curse is passed on to the next person who enters the lighthouse after dark. It said they must take the lighthouse keeper's place and watch over the sea to protect town from the storm that took the sailor's life. My time is ending. If you are reading this, it's too late for you. You are the new keeper.
Ava dropped the journal in shock. As she stood there, the lantern light flared again, but this time she did not feel scared. Instead, she felt a strange calmness, if something was welcoming her. The whispers returned, but they were soft and gentle now. Ava understood what had happened. The lighthouse had chosen to be the new keeper. From that night on, the lighthouse continued to flicker as it always had, but now the townspeople noticed that the lights seemed different, stronger, steadier. No more strange lights appeared, and the town stayed safe. Older townspeople whispered that the lighthouse had found a new keeper, just as it had done many times before.